Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Jain, founder and CEO of Logically, and Baybars Örsek, vice president of fact-checking of Logically Facts, to discuss combining AI with expert intelligence to tackle harmful content at scale. Lyric and Baybars, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks. And Lyric, I want to start with you. Baybars, feel free to follow up. Tell us about Logically and what is the nature of the work for the business?
Absolutely. Thanks for having us on Jill. Logically works with public sector bodies and social media platforms around the world to help reduce the harms that occur because of mis and disinformation online. We build AI by blending our computational experts, such as data scientists, engineers, with expertise from our open source intelligence team, fact-checking team, to really help detect and respond to mis and disinformation in the early stages of virality, as well as predict and prevent such activity, especially in cases around national security, election integrity, public health, and public safety. We work with a broad set of partners at Logically, and Logically Facts is kind of our independent initiative to identify and debunk and pre-bunk misinformation at speed and scale for audiences directly, as well as through some of our partnerships with social media platforms.
And Baybars, give us the background. Yeah.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I appreciate that opportunity to provide a bit more context on the way that we do our work on the public sphere as well. At Logically Facts, our primary goal is to inform the public with accurate and authoritative information, and actually help them to navigate this already problematic information ecosystem. And through the work that we do have with our platforms partners and the trust and safety teams at those platforms, we just want to be able to help the public to get better understanding of what's happening around election integrity, around public health, and more recently, climate misinformation as well. So this is a whole approach that we are taking on this issue.
Lyric, what are some of your key partnerships?
We work with a number of organizations around the world. On the public sector side, we work with various government departments here in the UK, where I'm based at the moment, as well as in the States, as well as in India. We also work with some intergovernmental organizations. Again, really focused on the area of public health, public safety, election integrity, and national security. And on the social media platform side, we work with some of the largest platforms that are out there, including kind of with Meta across Facebook and Instagram, as well as with TikTok in multiple markets around Europe.
What problem does Logically solve?
Well, it's a really a deep question in some ways, because in our view, mis and disinformation is not a classic content moderation problem. The nuance required to identify mis and disinformation is very different to classic content moderation problems, say hate speech, child safety. In a lot of those domains, knowledge really grows at a very, very slow rate. You could build a black box machine learning model and give it a few new slur words every few weeks, and it's going to be a pretty resilient capability at identifying such type of harmful content. Whereas for mis and disinformation, you really need a lot of nuance, a lot of more complex knowledge engineering to be able to identify misinformation reliably across domains, across countries, across languages, as well as across modalities, across text, audio, and video. So really the problem we solve for our users is one of speed and scale, of identifying potential harms occurring due to mis and disinformation, and then contextualizing it with a lot of nuance and context, so that they can effectively triage and respond to whatever we flag to them, as well as really, I think, unlike other domains, we're not really just identifying singular pieces of content here. Yes, mis and disinformation can exist within single pieces of content, but it also exists in, can manifest itself in terms of accounts, in terms of activity, in terms of content in aggregate, what we call narratives, accounts in aggregate, which might be communities, or activity in aggregate, which might be behavior. So there are a lot. These are some of the kind of complexities that we help our partners deal with when it comes to tackling mis and disinformation. But fundamentally, the quick one-liner is speed and scale.
So, Lyric, what is the characterization of the state of online harmful narratives and mis and disinformation?
Well, the space has really evolved over the last few years. There's more platforms today than ever before. I mean, a major platform just launched yesterday with 50, 60 million users within the day, and increasingly we're seeing this longer tail of platforms, which is making the problem increasingly complex, because again, none of these are walled gardens. Information diffuses across each of these, and we've got to find ways in which we can solve for the problem in a cross-platform manner. And increasingly, text only just doesn't work. More and more of our experiences are multimodal. It's getting video, text, audio all at the same time. And those have various challenges, both from a automated moderation standpoint as well as a human moderation standpoint. And perhaps one of the most pertinent challenges today is really some of the risks posed by kind of synthetic content. We first kind of identified synthetic disinformation campaigns probably 2.5 years ago, with kind of legacy techniques like Grover, et cetera, being used to, as precursors to ChatGPT to generate long form misinformation as well as kind of short form disinformation campaigns. But really, that's going to a whole new level now, where we're tracking a number of campaigns at the moment. Again, the level of technology sophistication is high, but we expect this to grow quite dramatically over the next 12 months. We probably expect something like an influence GPT to be out there, where users can simply put in a few commands and create disinformation campaigns, which will completely change what the unit economics of such activity look like. Currently, people have to kind of invest quite a lot of capital to deliver outcomes. So what perhaps could have been done for a few $1 million a year ago can probably by next year be done for a few single-digit $1,000s, and what could be done for a few $1,000s could now probably be done for $10-20. So I think that's going to really change the risk surface area and risk perimeter that most people are operating in. And
I'm sure. I mean, we'll definitely see that firsthand when we have the national election in the U.S. coming up. So, Baybars, with that said, what is the public's attitude towards fact-checking media and technology?
I mean, I think it's fair to say that we are now on charted territories when it comes to the dangers associated with mis and disinformation, because what Lyric just said, it is going to be an exponential growth of disinformation campaigns generated by AI. And I think it's important for us to note that the public actually needs and demonstrates a need for fact checking. We've recently done a survey in the US, in India, in the UK, and an astonishing number of our respondents, within 61% of them tell us that they want to see more fact checking on the platforms. It's also unfortunate to see that the majority of our respondents have indicated that they lost their trust in media, which puts us in a very important place as a fact-checking organization to build that bridge between the public and the media. And in order to do that, I think we can only invest in our capabilities, our expertise, but also our communications around how we deal with this, opinions and facts, and how we position ourselves as a fact-checking organization in this conversation around freedom of speech. We strongly believe in freedom of speech as a fact-checking organization. And our goal is to contribute to the public discourse by authoritative and credible sources, by facts that can help people to make better and informed decisions. So the public definitely has decided that they need more fact checking, but it's for us to communicate that we are doing all those in the right way and in the almost transparent way, especially within the age of generative AI, where people are actually, freaking out right now, as we can see that the capabilities are very alarming, and we as a technology company with a fact-checking team needs to be at the front of this fight and help people to navigate this information ecosystem.
Yeah, but that really is the challenge, though, right? A number of these intermediaries, the companies are US domiciled, right? And the way people value free speech is very different in every region, particularly the First Amendment is certainly a challenge. So standardizing it is, around the world, I think is going to take a lot of work, a combination of people and also of AI tools, for example, to effectively do this. So what are consumer expectations as it relates to fact checking?
I think we have been able to see the recent experiences of fact checking vis-a-vis the work we do with the platforms. It's now almost like a household name. Fact checking has always been a practice within journalism, but it has become a household name recently, and that has a lot to do with the work that we fact checkers do with social media platforms. So in order to tackle that, I think we need universal values and principles to guide and navigate, help people to navigate these issues. What we believe as Logically Facts is to help people to have access to the fact checks that we provide and the platforms to make them useful in their content moderation decisions and allow people to make their own informed decisions. The fact checks are helpful for people to enjoy a freedom of speech and freedom of expression, because in a polluted environment of information with misinformation and fake news around the world, it is getting harder for people to navigate this, issues that are, very important to them. And what we do there is to promote good information to fight against bad information.
And finally, Baybars, how concerned are you about biased AI and the responsible use of it for content moderation and fact checking?
We are actually worried, but not just on the worried, also invested in ensuring those models have the input that we provide in terms of how fact checks should be done in this day and age. So the models are currently in development, and some of them will be obviously used by bad actors. And as a technology company, as also fact checking outlet, our goal is to help the data scientists and people building those tools to have the input that we have from our experts and from our fact checkers on the ground. We have teams in 3 different continents, and they are very well suited to offer our tech teams the input they need to make sure that the linguistic difference and the context are represented in the models that we are building, because it is a bit more like an expertise-driven practice, and it's very important for us to make sure that we are there to ensure those models reflect the non-biased expectations of the people, of the public, so they could rely on the work that we do with the help of the technology.
Okay, Baybars, Lyric, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.